Hi, I'm Jonathan, and this video is about the Russia-Ukraine war and God's plan to end it, as described in Daniel 7 by the prophet Daniel in the Old Testament, and he was about 550 to 650 BC, roughly, 2,600 years ago. So here we are, Daniel chapter 7, and I will just read it. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse from one another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I behold, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl. The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it. And after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast. And I'll stop there. Okay, so there's four beasts. These great beasts, which are four kingdoms, which shall arise out of the earth. That's Daniel 7:17. That's an explanation of what this whole passage is about, what this whole chapter 7, is about. These are the beasts, the kingdoms on the earth today. Some have come, gone, and some are yet to be, but are partly here. So this is very relevant today. What happens to them in Daniel 7:11 says, I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. That's the horn on the fourth beast. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. This is very critical. There's four beasts, and I can identify the first beast very specifically, and the second beast. The third and fourth, we don't know yet. There's some idea. The fourth beast is destroyed. So the other three beasts, their lives remain. That's very critical. So I'll get into that. First, Daniel 7:4. In Daniel 7:4, it says, the first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. Now, these beasts were at one time, and many people even today think, this prophecy was partly fulfilled by Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. They have very similar characters associated with those countries, and their activities are very similar, but it was not totally fulfilled. The fourth beast did not conquer the whole world, as Daniel 7 says. In Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome, Rome never even conquered the known world at the time. The Roman Empire did not conquer even Scotland, which they knew. They had, Hadrian's Wall was there, and they did not conquer that. So Daniel 7 was not totally fulfilled, but it is one of those dual prophecies which are partly fulfilled at one time, very similar, and then fulfilled much more completely at another time. And this is that prophecy. This is the time of that total fulfillment of that prophecy that we're in right now. So the lion with eagle's wings, the UK has always been, its symbol is a crouching lion, and sometimes a standing lion, a rampant lion, and I'll explain that more. So in here it says the lion, the wings were plucked off. The crouching lion is the UK, and the wings, the eagle's wings, are America. When England and America were together, and the British Empire, the UK, was around the world, it was very strong. It was a by far the most dominant empire in the world. Then the wings were plucked off. That's a violent separation. That's the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, America's revolution from England. Then there was a treaty at 1833. England agreed to not fight anymore with America. I beheld till the wings were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. Now this is what happened to England. It was lifted up from the earth as a man, stood on his feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. A beast is carnal, crouching on the ground, just going after to feed its stomach, just to be satisfied. A man and God are up closer to the heavens, okay? For England in 1807, it freed the slaves. And then in 1832, it gave more democracy. It gave the citizens a right to vote. It wasn't just a king dominating, I'll do what I want. But in 1832, England gave the right to vote to some of its middle class. In 1864 and in 1884, they gave the right to vote to everybody in the society. So England became much more human, much more humanitarian, a heart of I'll help you, you help me. And so England was raised up as a man, and the wings, America, was torn off. Now the second beast is a bear with 3 ribs in its mouth, and the bear's laying on its side. The bear has long been the symbol of Russia. And the Russian bear, it's laying on its side with 3 ribs in its mouth. And it's laying on its side is indicating that its attention in one direction, and that direction is to the west, towards Europe. And the 3 ribs in its mouth are not like these other beasts, are countries. These beasts are countries, but the 3 ribs are not a whole country. They're just parts of a country. They're just 3 provinces of a country. They're 3 oblasts of Ukraine, or provinces of Ukraine. And they say, arise and devour much flesh. This was the protest in 2014 of Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea. They had big protests to say, we're fed up with how we're being treated. We feel with Russian citizens are here being treated poorly by people who are being called Nazis in Ukraine, and other international actors were giving them trouble. So these 3 provinces had big protests, and Russia was probably instigating in them, but also the West was also involved in instigating. But anyway, these 3 provinces said, arise and devour much flesh. Arise and go to war with Ukraine, which Russia did and has devoured much flesh. So Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea are the 3 ribs. But not only that, in the prophecy of Daniel 7, 11, and 12, the bear with 3 ribs in its mouth is one of the kingdoms that remains. Its life is prolonged for 10, 20, 30 more years at least in the future. But the end of Russia with the 3 ribs in its mouth, this is the final solution. This is how the Russian-Ukraine war is ended. Russia with 3 ribs in its mouth. Now, how can that be? Well, there's four plans, Russia-Ukraine war peace. And those 4 plans are Putin, Zelenskyy, Trump, and God. Putin in Russia, Zelenskyy in Ukraine, Trump in the USA, and God in the Bible in Daniel 7. And it's actually Daniel 7.5, as we've seen. The bear with 3 ribs in its mouth. So if Russia had its way, what Putin wants is to take over all of Ukraine. And if he gets a chance, he will. And if he just gets part of Ukraine, there's every indication that he never keeps a treaty, and he will just keep going to till he gets, whenever he can, whenever he has the money and the weapons, and maybe the West is weak, or Trump dies, or whatever. Whenever he gets the chance, he'll go for it. He'll try to invade the rest of Ukraine and take over Ukraine, because Ukraine is a breadbasket of Europe and the world. They'll have a lot of grain, they have a lot of resources, a lot of assets. Especially the Donbas has a lot of coal, natural gas, oil, and iron ore to a rich area. So Russia would like to take over all of Ukraine. But even if they did, there would still be a lot of war because the Ukrainians wouldn't like it, and they would have a lot of subversive activities, and Europe would be instigating, so that there'd still be a lot of conflict. That wouldn't be a permanent peace anyway. Then Zelenskyy, he doesn't want Russia in there at all. But that was the state in 2010, 2012, before all these protests occurred. So that's not really a stable situation either. And Trump, he wants to just give Russia where they are right now in August 2025. He wants to give Russia provinces, the Oblasts that they've taken, Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson, and Crimea. These provinces, Russia has them all so that it can supply Crimea either from its own country via the bridge, or it can supply Crimea from Russia through those 5 provinces. But this is not a stable peace either, because that's taking part of the Zaporizhzhia and Kherson. Those are really Ukrainian-friendly provinces, and Ukraine is just going to fight to take them back. And also, they're going to fight to take Donetsk, Luhansk, and Crimea back. So that's not really a good solution either. But God's solution is a real good solution. And God's solution is that Luhansk, Donetsk, and Crimea will be shared by Russia and Ukraine. What do I mean by shared? The bear has 3 ribs in its mouth. That's the permanent solution. The bear with 3 ribs in its mouth. It hasn't swallowed the ribs, and it hasn't spit them out. It's just holding them. So the ribs are still part of another creature, but Russia hasn't completely taken them over. So the solution is for these 3 provinces to be governed by a shared governing body. Like in America, we have rivers with states on both sides, like the Delaware River with New Jersey on one side and Pennsylvania on the other, and they have governing bodies, in this case the Delaware River Bridge Commission, that has representatives from both states appointed by the governors, and these representatives govern what the bridge will do, how much will we charge, when will we repair it, what contracts will we give, all that kind of thing. And if this is the solution for Ukraine and for these 3 provinces, it will be a good, stable solution. It will be stable for 4 reasons. 1, it'll be stable because God has dictated it. It's God's solution. What more you want? He's responsible, and he's going to make sure that it goes well. The second reason is it's in the Bible. God has put his stamp on it. It's already prophesied. There's many prophecies that have occurred, and it's just a very strong indication that it's true and reliable and good. The third reason is having these 3 provinces working with Russia and Ukraine, the people in them working together. Russia has a lot of good, strong manpower who's been working in Crimea, but especially Donetsk and Luhansk for many years in the Donbas, natural resources rich regions. Russia will contribute and keep having those good, strong workers there. And Ukraine has shown in this war that it has a lot of creativity and initiative. And if you put Russia and Ukraine together, working those 3 provinces, those 3 oblasts, this is going to be a very profitable, very productive situation where they won't want to go to war to stop this productivity and prosperity. Both countries will see this as a really rich cash cow. They won't want to stop it. And the last reason is, it was these 3 regions that caused the war in the first place. If they're getting what they want and need, and the other provinces also are what they need, this follows the historical, emotional situation of the citizens in those countries and those provinces, and this will be a good, strong, long-lasting peace. So I really request that Trump, Putin, and Zelenskyy consider this plan. It's God's plan, And I ask the video viewer here to really pray about this. Pray about that there will be a good, strong, long-lasting peace. And God's peace, what more you want? So I have a lot more things in the future. So like and subscribe and comment, and I'll have some links included that will allow you to email and to maybe send some contributions for me to keep this channel going and even do more videos with more resources. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.